So, something interesting on the front of Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice it says War Machine and Hordes?
Oh, look at that.
It doesn't say Company of Iron or IKRPG. I wonder if all that stuff is disappearing.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe it'll get its own publication.
Yeah, I really have no idea.
Yeah, that's weird that they would just put War Machine and Hordes on the front, though.
Yep. You could get away, I think, with it being War Machine and Hordes and being having Company of Iron in it, because that's a different way to play War Machine and Hordes.
Yeah.
But IK is a completely different
system.
Yeah. So we're live, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool. Hello.
There's like Crimson on.
Hi, Brian.
Brian. I assume we're live. It says we're streaming, so. Hey, we must be streaming. He said hi.
Yeah.
All right. I'm supposed to go to that email you wrote.
Yeah, I did show notes this time. Y'all motherfuckers got to read it. I can't say anything. I don't actually read wills ever, so.
No Quarter Prime. Heretics now in store. Savannah Aga's now in store. Madcaps. Witchwood. Longfellow. That's it. So it's the last of the. It's the last of the Grimkin releases.
Yes. Jesus, this is a long ad on Twitch. Like 20-second ad. Is that necessary?
I don't know. If we ever get money for it, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll let you know if it was necessary. If our first check is like $400, then it was fucking necessary. If, as I suspect, it'll be 28 cents and taken by the tax man, then no, not so much.
Yeah, not so much.
Focus! Shit talking during and after the match. Is it ever okay? Do you mean am I okay at it, or is it ever okay to do? Because I am not okay at it.
No, I'm terrible at it. That's why I just don't do it. I just tend to keep my mouth shut.
Oh my god. So I used to live with two other guys, nerds during school.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. And one of them was pathologically incapable of trash talking.
Okay.
He had some kind of mental block.
Yeah.
And he did not know how to do it. Like, he couldn't.
Just
could not do it. He would say the stupidest things. It's like, yeah, I'm going to fucking fuck you up, man, on this next match. He's like, yes, probably. Like, no, you come back. I'm going to shoot you some. Like, no, dude.
That sounds like how I do it, really.
No, but you at least can get into the spirit of it. You can trash talk. He was unable.
Just unable at all.
Unable. I never lived with anybody. I didn't live with weed purveyors in Toronto. I didn't live with my buddy who now has a kid and broke his glasses and went to parties at 3 a.m. with him. Oh my god, so weird. And I never lived with a bunch of nerds where we never even turned the heat on in the house because we heated it with the exhaust from power supplies. That's dedication. We had 3 people and 14 computers.
Holy shit! Yeah, that will heat a room, all right.
Oh, it heated in the entire house. Like we were, it was like an apartment in a house, so there was a basement apartment.
Right.
There was ours and this little one upstairs that the landlady actually lived in during the week.
Okay.
She bought this house. She was a government worker.
Yeah.
And we were like 2 blocks from Place de Portage on Le Duc. And she bought the house.
Yeah.
She, Monday to Friday, lived in the top floor and then went home on the weekends.
Okay.
And then she rented the rest of the place all the time. So we had an apartment that was basically the entire main floor. And we heated that entire main floor with just the heat from those computers. It was insane. There was So we each had our own gaming machine.
Yeah.
And then we each had between 1 and 2 servers that we used for farting around. And then there was the house server, which was this gigantic at the time, I think. It was giant, so it was maybe 4 terabytes, maybe. Like at the time, that was an ungodly amount of space.
Right, yeah.
Right, because this was 2005.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, like at the time, that was like 15 drives or something. And that's where we stored all of our like movies and stuff so that anybody could watch it from any room.
Okay.
Oh, my God. That was a really interesting place to live. That was the place where the cops showed up at the door one morning.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That was the same place where
That
the
was that
whores
place.
lived next door.
Yeah.
Because you'd slow down to go in your driveway, and the women would come out from the stoop onto the road and then they'd see it's you, and then they'd all wave because you're their neighbor.
Yeah.
Fuck. Occasionally, people are like, they're like, I don't think I've had a interesting life, and I'm like, no, I've been really boring, and then I stop and think, and I'm like, wow, wait, no, I've actually had some weird ass experiences over the years. Mostly, I'd say 2 or 3 people in my life have caused all of that, and I am thankful and horrified at the same time to them.
So do you have the PDFs for the CID?
No, I have
Probably-
not even looked at
Probably grab those.
them. So, of course, I'm part of another podcast
Yeah.
about like factions like that, and so they've been going ape shit. There's like 48 messages in that list right
Yeah.
now. I hear Legion will probably want to be taking the Swamp Horror because it's strictly better Proteus
Yeah, 4-inch drag on that fucker, right?
and 3 attacks.
3 attacks.
It's strictly better Proteus.
Well, Proteus has 3 attacks.
Yes, but he doesn't cost 4 points or whatever the fuck this thing is.
Yeah, that's poor Proteus.
The Dracodile's in there, which means we should
Yeah.
probably actually see Dracodile soon.
He's got a spray that just causes blind.
Yeah,
straight
Legion
up.
don't care.
Straight up blind. No, Legion doesn't care.
Legion
but-
don't care. Guys, oh shit, Kelly got the sorry. I'm happy that Kelly got the promotion. I'm sad that you guys won't be moving to Ottawa.
Who's that?
Brad.
Oh,
when Brad
shit.
and Kelly were up, we were talking with them. We're like, you should totally move here. But
Yeah.
Kelly was up for a promotion.
Oh,
And
okay.
she got it, which is awesome because it means that Kelly got her promotion. But it's horrible because it means those two won't be moving back to
Yeah.
Almont. Back to Almont. To Almont.
To Almont.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Gatorman Soul Slave. Hey, they're actually putting long chops in. Void.
Yaga Yaga gets signs importance.
Why are they trying to make Minions a real faction? It's not a real faction.
They're trying.
Bone Swarm. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The Bone Swarm gets corpses. Can we get it in Grimkin? That would be really flavorful, and it would actually synergize.
Yeah.
Throg? Throg?
Throg!
Like, I mean, are they going to make it good?
Can you add... Sean, do you have the mouse there, brother?
Yeah, I got a mouse.
So...
You just going to read that out on air?
No.
Or are you going to turn off your mic?
I'll just...
Oh, just point it at
Yeah.
me? Why don't you just tell him to use ours?
Because his name is right there, so we might as well just put it in. Blades. Do you have to put the whole thing in?
I wouldn't think so.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Does he want to join us?
Yes. I think in a couple minutes.
Bone Swarm.
Bone Swarm.
No, so you never played WoW. You never encountered this guy. There was the first boss in Frozen Throne, first raid boss, was a 3-headed flying skeleton with a gigantic axe. And in WoW, it's actually designed so that you can do all of the boss's mechanics without any add-ons or anything. So he will telegraph every move in some way.
Oh, shit.
So, like, there will be a particle effect, or he'll move to a certain spot. Or in the case of this giant 3-headed skeleton, before he did his spinning attack that, like, wandered around the whole room, he would yell, "Bone Storm!" and go "Hoo, hoo, hoo, hoo," all the way through everything. It was amazing and horrible. One of the most amazing things is when I got back into WoW, they had made him into a pet. So you get a little tiny one that runs around your feet going, "Bone Storm!"
Nice.
I love him. Blindwater Congregation,
Alad
150 words of fluff.
Alad knows Bone Storm.
Bone Storm!
Is there any way we could put the chat on there too? So I didn't have to stare at my phone.
Yes, technically.
Would it screw anything up?
Well, no, but the problem is that we have to get the Skype.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah.
So I think we could, like, do that as long as we keep it 16:9, it should be fine.
Cool. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Going from a 1080 screen to a 720 screen. And on the other side of the fucking universe, I'm going to have to make that bigger. What is it? Settings. Font size. Select font. Wow, that is an arcane way to have to do that.
That looks, that's really bad. Are you blind?
Yep.
Holy
Wow,
shit.
that's bigger
That's
than
way too big.
that is bigger than I thought it was. I can read it fine now,
Yeah.
but
So can my grandmother from Nova Scotia. That's
There
good.
we go.
That's pretty good.
Little Rags is pretty good, except for the fact, well, I love that you can use them as an anvil. That's just hilarious.
Oh, goodness.
Here we go. Bog Truck Amateurs. I don't care. Huh, I wonder why that stopped. Oh, it went into a commercial.
Ah.
Caliban. Barnabas. Wrestler. Snapper. Throlg. What does Throlg do now? He's cheaper. He has Pathfinder and Prowl. Hopefully he doesn't get shot off the table now. Still has the same claws. Notes. Throlg. I love it. Spitter. Spitter's gotten cheaper. So, yeah. Croak Hunter went to Mat 7.
Oh.
Got Hunter and reposition 3. I do love it.
Jesus, it's a lot of models. 31 pages.
I do love it that they have mentioned what has changed in green.
Yeah. So nothing changed on the Gatorman posse. Caliban looks the same. Bloody Barnabas looks the same.
Oh no, Swamp Horror's 16, but Proteus is what, 24?
Tw-
22?
Point
Yeah.
cost? No, Proteus is 19.
19?
Same
Okay.
as Carney, yeah.
So it's 3 cheaper. Looks to have the same grid as a fucking Carney.
Yep.
Impervious, amphibious. Whoa, impervious?
What?
He has impervious flesh.
What?
No, he's arm 15 instead of arm 18.
Yeah, but
Arm
impervious flesh
15
gives you another
impervious flesh.
3.5 off your
5, 6, 7,
damage
8.5. 8.5. Right?
Holy crap. That's really good.
God
God damn it.
Crit amputation. God damn it! I'm taking Swamp Horrors. I'm glad I got Mini Crate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi,
that's
Mr.
the
Will.
new Eilish.
Hi, Mr. Will. Yeah, we're live.
Oh yeah, we're live.
Oh, good. Talking about fake rules?
We haven't officially started.
Yeah, we probably
Hashtag
should
fake
actually,
Well, I
because
was
there's 30 pages of shit to go through in
And
half an hour.
I haven't even looked at it.
neither have
Yeah.
I, but Swamp Horror strictly better Proteus. So get this: 16 points. Mat 6, arm 15. Oh my god, you fucking retards. He has impervious flesh and steady.
Steady, too.
Yeah, impervious flesh,
Yeah,
steady.
that's strictly better
Crit
Proteus.
amputation on the beak. 3 drags that are
3
range.
drags?
Yeah, tentacle times
Each
3.
tentacle is, oh my god.
So he's got 4 attacks. The beak is 1 with crit amp
Yeah.
at PS 16. He has 3
All right.
tentacles, PS 12. That are
Okay.
What is the cost on this? 80?
16.
That
It's
so,
cheaper than Proteus.
Yeah, but
So it's got chain strike, so they're all range 4.
Yep.
And drag.
Yep.
Mat
Matt.
6
I think Proteus is 7, but that's not bad.
for 3 extra points.
Yeah.
I can find something and give him a mat buff for 3 points.
Yeah. Well, so Proteus's attacks are 14, 16, 16.
Yeah, so this guy's 16, 12, 12, 12.
Yeah.
Like, he's got an extra attack.
Yeah. Shit.
Like,
That's pretty
I think it's strictly better Proteus.
And impervious flesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
so what CID is this? Is this like all of the
Blind water.
Okay, so
The gators. And
all,
gator one.
all the gators.
yeah.
Like, literally
All the gators.
Wow, that's
31
crazy.
pages.
Well, I guess it was like nobody was actually playing them except for Minty. So
Yeah.
Crow Creators got cheap.
did they get better?
Yeah. I don't care if they got cheaper. I just want them to get
They
better.
seem to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well,
Range
cheaper and the same is not bad, especially
No, but
if they start allowing more mercs and minions in themes.
Yeah.
That means that you could take them.
Yeah.
In the theme that you're wanting to take them in. Yeah, your microphone seems to be working.
Yeah, I
again.
replaced the cable.
replace the cord.
Oh, it was the cable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
amazing how those just burn out all of a sudden.
See that guy?
Yeah, you got it from the no quarter, I'm guessing,
Yeah, the prime is right there.
and he's probably still super overpowered, except can't fit into any theme so far.
He's in Destruction Initiative.
For now. Except Destruction Initiative hasn't been announced to be one of the ones that's going to allow mercs in it yet. Was it?
He's the only merc so far that works for Convergence.
We'll see. We'll see if that sticks. I disbelieve.
You disbelieve? Well, currently it's legal, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the fuck out of it right now.
Cool.
I like his model too.
Did you order the no quarter? Like,
No,
or
I
you
just went and picked it up.
Oh, damn! I should have got you to get me one too.
Out of the box has a nice big stack.
Okay, I'll have to go there someday when I have time again.
I dug through the stack till I found one with no flashing.
And this is your base.
Yeah, that's a secret weapon. It has the very first Privateer Press gray base I've ever seen.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's the same color as this model.
Yeah, they did it as a single mold.
You didn't get your prime yet, Bilak? So bad.
So, minions gonna get good, huh?
Minions.
Getting good.
Good for Robin. He just finished. He's finishing up painting his.
He may have had some
Gator
insider info.
Army. Maybe. He's not sharing with us. That's,
Yeah,
for,
that's
sure.
for sure. Jerk.
Bilak, I'm going to kill the music in the background and play the
Aw.
openings, and I want to know how their audio level is.
Yeah. Sounds pretty loud.
Recording live from the
That sounds about
E-Hailing
right.
Memorial
Yeah.
Studios, straight out of Elmont, Ontario, it's time for This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, your one and only weekly Warmahordes news broadcast.
We got Skype going.
We can.
That's awesome. So the intros finally work. What was that? What did you do?
Yay.
I played with the settings.
Oh, like a boss.
It's Skeletor.
Skeletor.
Wow. Hey, we
Here.
have audio. Oh, we have videos.
Hey!
Hey, Jonathan.
Wow. so
You look crazy.
he got them crazy ass.
I am?
Yeah, that's what we want. We want just the nose up
Yeah.
and the weird dark shadow.
Yeah. Perfect.
There we go.
shadow.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
That's a little bit better.
I really wish we could get it to not put us in the corner of that window, and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You should play with the settings.
So the corner of my window you disapprove of?
No.
No,
Yeah,
it's on us, man.
Yeah, it's totally on us.
The worst part is the way you're leaning and your camera. You have moved yourself as close to the part of the screen that is taken up by that window as possible.
Perfect.
If you get down another inch, you should just like hide completely behind it.
I
Perfect.
can do this, I just gotta.
Pan,
There we go.
pan left. There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Just an eyeball.
Awesome. Super Pro. Hashtag Super Procast.
Oh my God, we're so bad at this.
So I need to move this a little bit because I got this damn mobile thing.
There you go. Perfect.
There, yeah, that's
It went back
something
again.
like it.
So not perfect at all. That's what you're telling
No,
me.
Close enough.
not at all.
All right.
Try to have yourself on the left-hand side. Yeah, like that.
Perfect.
That's good. I like
Now
that.
we're
But now
talking.
I'm holding it.
Yeah, you got to stay there. It's like
If you could
it's
just
like,
do that for
like
an hour and a
antennas
half.
and watching CBC in the 80s.
Selfie
You had to
cam.
have like hold the antenna, lift one foot.
Yeah. Try not to fart.
Yeah, because that just throws everything off.
Like above my computer all the way up to the sky, and it's going to be weird. That's all right.
You're good. You're good to go.
Well, it's gonna be weird for you. We're doing fine.
Yeah.
So you could
Fair
probably trim that excess out if you wanted
This
to.
I would love to do that.
Oh, but you don't want to.
No, I really have no idea.
What's going on?
He forgot how to manipulate the backgrounds and stuff.
Oh.
Ah,
Yeah, what happened to our super fancy background, George?
What, this one?
Yeah. I miss our super fancy backgrounds.
Well, first we'd have to adjust the camera so it's not showing your chicken legs, and then
I
we'd
love
have
my
to
chicken legs.
then we'd have to zoom it in so that we just have the blue in the background, and then I would have to give a shit.
Both of those seem unlikely.
Yeah, it's amazing the way that works.
God.
Hey,
go get
shall
myself a
we
beer.
add Bilac to this call?
no.
No. Fuck off, Bilac.
Hang up on the. There you go.
But
Womp, womp. I like how it makes that womp womp.
They're to try. He's literally
That's the sound of Bilac's life.
That womp womp.
Oh my God. Phone's on quiet, people.
Mine already is.
Mine always is, because I hate the sound of phones doing things and telling me to pay attention to them.
So we're gonna do some hashtag fake rules before we get started.
Yeah, let's do some.
Some hashtag fake rules.
We got 20 minutes. Let's see what we
20
can get
minutes
through.
of hashtag fake rules. We've
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hashtag Fake Rules, the podcast where we talk for 20 minutes before a real podcast about a bunch of rules that don't actually exist yet. So that you can panic about them and say the sky is falling and this game is over.
Actually, I've heard they're really good this time.
Oh, they're
Everybody's like super happy.
well, I guess it's because we.
Then they're going to get their souls crushed
Yeah.
when reality comes
you know
crashing.
what's great? Ghost Fleet getting a buff.
I heard that's coming tomorrow. D3
Oh, no,
plus
they-
2.
They changed Jaga Jaga's feet so it doesn't remove from play anymore. So that's
Oh.
super cool.
It's a
Yeah.
straight feet.
That definitely helps.
Why?
Ghostly. Thanks, guys.
Why did they remove the RFB? Did they give it something else?
Because Yaga Yaga is the most overplayed caster in all of this game and needed to be fixed.
I gave him signs importance.
Oh, there you
which,
go.
which is pretty good.
Yeah, like really.
Yeah.
He's good.
Let me pull up these fake rules real quick.
Do we start
So
at the
that
top
I can
or
tag along at home.
Yeah, let's start at the top.
Bug Drug and Bushers?
Nothing changed.
Good. Alrighty, on to the Gatorman posse.
Nothing changed.
Excellent, I like it.
Wasn't the Gatorman posse what everybody wanted to change?
I think they wanted 8
more
boxes on them, but they get 8 boxes in the theme.
Yeah, so they're never getting 8 boxes out of theme.
No.
Okay.
So Caliban, the Grave Walker, nothing changed.
Excellent, we like it.
Bloody Barnabas,
Still good?
still good, nothing changed.
Okay.
Black-Eyed Wrestler,
Still a wrestler?
still wrestling, nothing changed. Bull Snapper, something changed.
Ooh, what was it?
So Bull Snapper got Torpid.
Still has Spiny?
Yeah.
No, it
Good.
didn't
No.
get Torpid. It made it optional.
Oh, okay, Torpid is optional now. So
Which I guess is a buff in the strictest of you don't have to do this turn.
yeah, if there's ever an instance where you don't want
Want
to
to
do it,
remove the
then,
Fury?
then I guess you don't have to.
Was that something people were complaining about?
Probably. People
Probably
complain about everything.
Okay.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Throg.
I
Throg.
lost my fucking PDF. Where did it go?
Throg.
It closed.
Throg got Pathfinder. Throg got Prowl.
Nice.
Throg's still Throg.
Throg's gonna Throg.
Throg's gonna
Prowl-
Throg.
Really big. Like he kept getting shot to death. That's his big problem.
Yeah, and they dropped his point cost to 6.
I didn't realize. Jesus Christ, cat.
Just fire the cat across the room. It's fine. Ironback Spitter. Point cost down to 14. Is that enough to make the Spitter good? Like, Spitter gonna spit. I've seen him in some lists, but
Right.
I don't know. Crook Hunter.
Is that actually like an expression you use regularly? Spitter's gonna spit.
Yeah, we live in Almont.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Ironback Spitter?
No, yeah, we just did Ironback Spitter.
Okay.
Dropped in points.
Croak Hunter.
Croak Hunter got Hunter and reposition 3.
If that guy wasn't fucking good enough.
I know.
He's so good. Oh my god.
You missed Matt 7.
Oh yeah, he is Matt 7 now. Oh, my god. All right,
I like
cool.
him.
Good for him.
Maylock the Dreadbound. Death Pact?
Is super cool.
Yeah.
Well, in the spellcaster's control range, friendly faction warrior models gain +2 arm, and undead models are not affected. While out of formation, Death Pact lasts for 1 round.
it's like the old Gator Witch Duck Crocs power.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like his old power. They just gave it to the whole goddamn army.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It seems very good.
Seems good.
Seems all right.
Bone Swarm.
Bone Swarm got
Bone
steady.
Got steady.
Rockin'
Surprise,
steady.
surprise, the giant pile of bones
Is steady.
is steady.
Cannot be knocked down.
I don't know how that happens.
Can you not knock down a giant pile of bones?
Next we have Strictly Better Proteus.
I don't know.
Swamp Horror. So point cost down to 16. Picked up Chain Strike for range 4. So it's got 3 POW 12 chains, weapon pulls, and the beak with crit amputation for 16 points. Do you think they're buffing him because the mini crate first model is a Swamp Horror? And they want people
Maybe
to
try it
actually
out.
play that model?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
I don't know. Get him, Witch Doctor. Picked up
Did they get him back? Is he back to good?
Death Ride and Zombify.
Death Ride's back.
Death Ride. So, friendly faction, undead model activating this model's command range gain +1 movement while advancing as part of their normal movement. So, the
That's
Witch
what,
Doctors are just an auto include now with what's his face?
Maylock right above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would just like to give my army +1 speed. Thank you.
Steam's
Sack Strike.
Yep. Which was there before.
I think that was
Zombify.
actually- Zombify was what they because
Did they
Zombify
take
changed.
Zombify
Yeah,
away?
they took
It had
away.
no. It had been changed.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
It is weird.
So target friendly non-warcaster, non-warlock model.
It used to be just friendly. Now it's friendly faction.
Oh, okay.
And it's model, not model unit?
And it doesn't do what you think it does.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
re-
not.
Oh, so it's totally not Zombify
Gives
anymore.
undead
Right.
and last word.
Because Zombify, you used to target your friendly unit, and it would turn them undead
Yeah.
and give them tough, I want to say.
Yeah.
That is-
Yeah.
Which is why they were not included in every army, because you'd
Yeah.
be like, I've got a unit, and I want
And
them to
they're
have tough.
Yeah.
Well,
And then they were like, nah, you
Yep.
don't need that
what's
anymore.
what's really weird is you can't use Death Ride and Zombify on the same turn.
Nope.
So it's not like you can turn a unit of gators into zombies and then Death Ride.
them.
Then
Yeah.
ride them to death. Well, wait, what if you have 2 Witchstock Crocs?
Well,
Uh,
they
These
are
guys-
FA2.
Yeah.
Then you can ride
can
them
do
to
it.
death.
You can make a unit of gators 1 speed faster for 8 points. Oh yeah.
Rask
seems
is the
bad.
same?
Yeah, Rask.
Rask is
Rask
the same.
is good.
Rask is still good.
Bogtrog.
Boker. The
what-
Boker and Bogtrog.
Went down to 10 points.
Yeah.
That's a
Pretty
thing, I
good.
guess. That sounds,
Yep.
sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 non-minion players talking about this. When we talk about this on Not a Real Faction,
Yeah.
there'll be people who actually know what the hell they're talking about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Vengeful Spirits on Jaga Jaga. Choose up to D3 plus 5 friendly models in Jaga Jaga's control range and remove those models from play. I thought you said it got rid of the RFP.
Well, these are your models.
Oh, RFP your own
Yeah,
models
friendly
to
models.
not RFP other people's models. Got it.
So
For
you're
each,
still going to RFP, but you RFP a maximum of 5. Keep reading the rest of it. It's
yeah,
okay.
for each model removed, target 1 enemy model within 5 inches of the model removed. Targeted models suffer an unboostable magical damage roll with a POW equal to the base arm of the removed model.
Oh.
Models destroyed by Vengeful Spirits are removed from play.
Interesting.
It's a giant sack strike, which is cool, but the problem with that Ghost Fleet had into it was like, all right, I kill a whole bunch of crap. Now you have to kill it, or it's all removed from play. Now you get to kill 5 models, which is fantastic, that are within 5 inches of other models, but it's not like any number of models, and then I have to waste activations.
Yeah.
Could you use this as a way to, like, make the Gatorman posse into just remove anything from the table? Because it's 5 POW 18s.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to hurt for sure.
Now, it does cost you an entire unit of Gatorman.
Yeah. So
But-
it would have to be some pretty important shit that you're targeting.
Somebody brought up that it's just models. So, like, the Sacral Vault's arm 20, right?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So, like, if you just, like, really need that assassination, you're like, fuck it!
Yeah. Here's
Sit
a
with
POW 20.
The caster and drop 2 Sacral Vaults on their noggins.
We're in! In for a penny, in for a pound, bitches!
Well, like, I mean, I have done dumber things to get the assassination run.
Right?
Like, I mean, as
And failed.
well, yeah, but I wouldn't say it would be my primary plan, but if I had 2 Sacral Vaults and they were that close to the caster and I had not popped feet, that sounds like a thing that would happen.
The worst that happens is the army takes 2 POW 20s to the face. Like,
Yeah.
the caster doesn't die, but now they're at 6 hit points.
Yeah.
That's really, I will be really interested to see what kind of janktastic
Yeah,
cheap,
there's gonna be
high
some
arm
shit.
list comes out.
Yeah.
Is it current arm or is it
Base
base?
arm,
It
I
must be
think.
base. Okay.
So you
Now-
can't just, like, raise the arm by an extra 6 and be like, ha ha!
Yeah.
That'd be
Now, do you really want to get to the point where you're like, all right, I take 2 units of ambushing Bogtrogs, I take 2 Sacral Vaults, and I just go, guys, here's my army. I hope you can avoid this somehow.
Yeah.
And they just show up all around him.
Yeah.
And with Signs Importance, that's going to be
Signs
good.
importance is good.
Signs Importance is always good.
8 damage.
Signs Importance just grabs that bell curve and drags it forward.
Yep. Yep.
You got to love it. Blindwalker, old Candlehead himself. Point cost down to 10.
Jeez, that's not bad.
I take an arc. I would take a heavy arc node for
Yeah.
10 points. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's really good.
Croak Raiders are back!
Yay!
Croak Raiders!
They got cheap.
Which was everybody's main complaint about them.
Well,
Yep.
there's still 17
17
points.
points still seems like a lot.
Yeah, it does. But
If you need a lot of fire,
yeah,
or if you've got a
Yeah.
lot of fire, and you've got a
Yeah.
way to make them friendly faction, which
Yeah,
there are
that's-
ways to do that now. That could be. It still could be good. It is still. You're right. It's still exorbitantly expensive.
I love
an extra
I love
die.
seeing these scorn lists go through CID. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if you have something like signs of importance to make them more accurate, seems good.
Yeah, I am actually seriously considering pulling up the like doing one of those scorn lists.
So Dory just said on the chat,
Yeah.
ambushing Gatormen under under that Yaga's feet is not bad because you just ambush and get them right up in that caster's face and bye-bye.
Yeah.
Pop. Yeah.
I will speak for because I do have a lot of ambushing units in
Yep.
my bullshit. It's
Yep.
actually a lot harder to get them there than you think.
Well, and people can play to that. They can hang out in the
Yeah,
center,
exactly.
right, if they know it's coming. So
It's really really difficult to get an ambushing unit unless
On a
somebody
caster,
on
for
a
sure.
caster unless
Yeah.
somebody like forgets about the ambushing unit and makes
Right.
a giant mistake.
Remember- Go ahead.
I was just going on to the next thing. Go ahead.
All right. So 3 inches deploy, 10 inches run, 5 inches of explosive death. That's 18 inches into the board from both sides.
yeah.
Yeah. You got 24 inches though, so you've got basically like a
There's a 1 inch
10 inch.
because there's a 1 inch bubble there. If you can get 18 inches from the side, and they have their caster plop down in the middle.
No, he's
it's a-
including the 5 inches in that.
Oh, okay.
Because you
Gotcha.
3 inches in, 10-inch run, so that puts you 13 inches. You gain the extra 5 inches for
Right.
Baba Yaga's feet, or
Yeah.
for Yaga's feet. So that's going to get you 18 inches, which means you basically got, as long as you stay within that 12-inch gap.
in the middle.
Yeah, but on the other hand, that means that the other guy, if he's thinking about this,
Now
you know
you're-
exactly where his caster's
Yeah, you're
going.
going to
Yep.
force him. You're going to force him down a channel. So
yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot of pressure there for sure.
That's really
perfect.
interesting.
except your opponent also has to be playing minions. So
So we'll never see it. Barnabas, nothing. Long Chops. Is this the first time we've seen Long Chops? He's the Gatorman from the IKRPG, right?
Barnabas is
Not
because
Barnabas,
Barnabas
Long
2
Chops.
is new, right?
Oh, is this Barnabas too?
Yeah, it's Barnabas 2.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was not looking.
So it should all be green.
It should all be green. Yep. So 20
listen to your other podcast to learn about this.
Yes, pretty much.
Because otherwise it's just.
I'm seeing. I'm actually. My
Amphibious, tough.
messenger is going off at the top right now, talking all about it. I should really just loop those guys into our cast. What's his feat? Death Ritual. Immediately remove from play one or more friendly living or undead models currently in Barnabas's control range. For each model removed, Barnabas gains 1 corpse, 1 fury, or can remove D3 damage points from a model in his battle group. Interesting.
That's not bad.
He can't exceed his fury points as a result of Death Ritual. But there's no top on his corpses. Bone Shaker.
I think he has somewhere in here. He has a top
Max.
of the corpses somewhere.
Yeah.
This model can have 3 corpse tokens at any time under bone pile.
So it only gets 3.
Okay, so yeah.
Spells? He's got Blood Rain. Blood Rain's pretty good. Execration of Blackest Night.
That might be my favorite spell name ever.
Yeah, I know. Eh?
It'd be
Sounds
better
like
if
a
it,
black
it
metal
would be
band.
better if it was excretion
Excretion.
instead of execretion.
Hunter's Mark and Rebuke.
Yeah.
That
Rebuke's a bunch of garbage. It should not be a spell. Get it off. Bad.
Rebuke is ridiculous.
I likes it.
Yeah. Hunter's Mark's good.
Bone Shakers. So he's their
He
unit.
he gets a couple of bone shakers.
3.
3.
Nice.
3 Bone Shakers? It's a unit of 4?
Yep.
Wow, is that the first non-3 person unit we've seen?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think all the other units are 3.
3, yeah.
Well,
Bone Shakers
except for
2.
Witch Coven, which isn't really a unit.
Witch Coven is not a unit.
But you got 3 and the
Egregore.
eye. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
again,
not-
Witch
not
Coven's
really.
not a unit.
Witch Coven's Witch Coven.
And they will forever stay not a unit.
no.
Never.
Until CID rolls around and everybody posts should not be a unit.
No. Bad.
So, Long Chops.
Long chops. Same.
You missed Dark Shroud.
No, I said it on the Bone Shakers. They
Yep.
all have Dark Shred.
That's all they have.
Yeah, they are tiny little Dark Shred bots.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Long Chop, nothing. Gatorman
Nothing.
Husk.
He's new.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He's from the
Right.
IKRPG.
Oh, cool.
He was in the base game, the introduction. I think.
Yeah, didn't you
Okay.
play him in the
Yeah.
Neat.
when we did our little
Yeah,
intro?
when we did our little intro, and the Husk. So he's got Ambush, Carnivorous Swarm, models disabled, AoE 5 on it. Oh, this is the Explodey guy.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is it. This is
yeah.
that beast that just walks in and blows up.
It just blows up.
Nice.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So if
hit
you got
points.
Yaga Yaga,
Hey, look,
and
there's
you're gonna blow up a bunch of shit, imagine this would be hilarious.
my
The jank
God.
with this one is you literally have an
Arm
army
16,
that-
POW 16, not bad.
Well, think about this. What would be hilarious is you just have a giant army that's job is to not exist after round 4.
An army that removes itself
It's
from
just
the
literally
table.
like
Run forward
running,
and blow the fuck up.
blow everything up, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm just
I'm done.
I'm just yaga yaga on my own.
I want to see that happen at least once.
I would-
Just once.
That would
I
be
would-
kind of cool. This is what I call my go for lunch list.
yeah.
Top of 2, one of us is dead.
Spoilers, they get a rack down at the bottom.
Ooh.
Get racks.
And then, of course, the Dracodile.
We're
Yeah,
only
there
at
we go.
D. We're only at D. This is in
Oh, it's not in
alphabetical
alphabetical
order.
order.
Oh, thank God! I'm like
24 of
here.
31.
Snacking, of course.
Yep.
Crit Smite on his tail. Couple of open fists that are P plus S 17. And a P plus S 19 bite. This feels like a Carnivian.
Auto blind spray 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that part.
There's that.
Well, he still feels like a Carnivian. It's a blind
With
spray.
blind on a Carnivian, yeah.
Yeah. He has a few more boxes.
I feel like this
Few
is.
more.
I feel, Jason. I'm starting to feel like this is the Legion you wanted.
Kind of.
It,
Pretty much is.
you're not wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
You've got non-Proteus
Yeah.
Proteus. You've got
Strictly better Carnivian.
Well, he's also,
Also
37
points.
It's
Yeah.
not
So
exactly.
2 Carnivians.
Yeah.
but he's giant. He's or he's huge base, so you get that.
He's
going
1
for you.
point cheaper than 2 Carnivians.
and he's constantly peeing on the ground.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Just
Yeah,
all
Just
of
everywhere.
All the pee.
You need a yellow circle to put down around him first.
That would be there. You go. I want to see that mod out there, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody just
That's
put the,
what. It needs to be 5 inches from his base, 4.75, so 2 and like a half. So it's like a 7.5 inch circle of urine.
That's a
Well,
big
it's
old
well
pee
within
puddle.
5 inches, so doesn't that mean it's 5 inches on either side of the 5-inch base?
Well, that's what I said. 5 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So
it's like
it's
15 in
Yeah.
a bit.
Okay, guys, we're actually running up on 8 o'clock. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to end our not the hashtag fake rules podcast for this evening. We will, if you want to learn real knowledge about these fake rules, go check
'em
out
out.
George's other podcast. Where,
Yeah.
where do you find that, George?
Not a Real Faction. You can find it on the Muse feed. Episode 2 should be out any minute now. We've already got episode 3 in the can, and then episode 4 will be coming out. Well, we might switch 3 and 4 because of this.
Because that's what
You-
you needed was another
Yeah.
podcast.
You already put it in the toilet? That seems ridiculous.
All right.
All right,
George,
so
hit
what
that
I'm going to
button.
do is I'm going to flip back and then hit that button.
Eventually.
Going to put that finger up.
Don't talk.
No talking.
Recording live from the E. Haley Memorial Studios, straight out of Elmont, Ontario, it's time for This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, your one and only weekly Warmahordes news broadcast. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday night, the beers are cold, the news is fresh, and the death clock starts now.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Death Clock. Oh, man. What a week. What a week. Ladies and gentlemen, lots of cool things happened
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. So we've got a lot to talk about. And joining us tonight is the seething ginger himself, Jonathan Leclerc.
Good evening, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Jonathan. We've recently done a state of Crick's podcast with Tim Banky.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go deep
Not
into
gonna
the.
go super deep.
We're not going to do our standard faction overview. Talk
No.
about. But we are going to get John's kind of like take on some stuff.
Yeah, and with the way the WTC went, perhaps last weekend, it might be a good time to do a little bit of focus on.
Yeah.
Well, not focus, like not the segment,
But we're going to
but
look at
talk
it
about
in
it
depth.
and kind of see what's going on.
Now, it's going to be an interesting evening because, Jason, I'm going to moderate still, but I'm handing over the questions reins to you.
Okay, it's harder for me to drink when
That
I'm
is
talking.
kind of part of the point. But before we do that, let's talk about our weekend War Machine.
Yes, huh?
We got games in,
Yeah.
several of them.
You got
Yeah,
game.
I got
Do you remember the last game?
yeah.
Okay.
Which game? Oh, the one at Albans. Yeah, barely.
That's why I was
Holy
asking
shit.
if you remembered.
Yeah, so I guess I could start with that one.
Sure.
So we went to Chris Albans on Saturday and maybe played a couple games and then got faced.
Snicket?
So I played against Mr. Bilak, and he let me drop the Black Industries theme into his Gareth list.
Ooh.
So bottom of 2.
Yeah, you guys were like, we had just like moved the first of our models, and you were like,
Well,
we're done.
Yeah, Bilak maybe moved Gareth within like 4 inches of Death Jack and a Slayer.
4 inches?
Yeah.
That's ballsy.
That's really close.
He forgot. Well, he feated, so
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to spend focus. But he forgot that Scar also has Dark Guidance. So I automatically
so
get
when you
boosted
don't
attack
need
rolls.
focus, yeah.
When I don't need focus, it doesn't matter. And then I feed on Death Jack and that Slayer, and they're both hitting it like P plus S22. So
So that was a non-game.
that was
game.
over pretty quick. Yeah.
Now, what happened on your Barley Mow game? This week?
At my Barley Mow game, we had a guy named Kerry show up who hasn't played in a long time,
Yeah, like
probably since like
2 or 3 years. or
early,
something.
about mid Mark II, probably. And he needed a bit of a learning game. He's playing Cricks, coincidentally.
nice.
So he asked me to play a learning game with him, and did not want to play the mirror match, which I don't blame him. So I put Legion on the table, and he had a unit of Satixis and a unit of Bane Warriors under Denny's feet that just ravaged my entire battle group.
Ooh, I like it.
So he ended up, actually, I think he won on scenario.
Wow,
Which
that's
was really
pretty
good.
awesome for
Yeah.
somebody that's been away from the game for
Yep.
so long.
Yep, not too shabby.
Jorge, how was your? Did you get any games in this week?
Well, I went to a tournament on the
oh,
weekend.
that's right, you did. How did you do?
I did sort of middle of the pack. I went 2-2,
Nice.
which I'm quite happy with. I had a bunch of really interesting games. My first game was against Connor, and he forgot about Drag on the Prime Axiom. So
That happens.
Yep.
Mom dominated Seether, walked it behind, was it Venethrax? I think it is. Anyway, walked it behind. No, it was Gaspy 2, actually. Walked it around behind Gaspy, and then I feeded with Mom and boosted to hit and dragged Gaspy in, and then POW 20 auto hitting punches do a lot of damage.
Yep.
Let's see, what was my second game? I think that was my game into Alad. I was playing into the Flying Circus Oracles.
As he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, Oracle's Fianna. Really good list. There was a couple of really great things that happened to me in that tournament. My favorite 2 Angelii were out on the board. And I
Okay.
really love these Angelii because they can't roll worth shit.
Those are the best kind of
They
engine.
are the best Angelii in the world. They both came in, each one on a TEP, which,
Yeah.
as you well know, only has like 23
Yeah.
boxes, and left both of them alive.
Oh shit. That's bad.
And so he had to feat to keep everything alive. And then I realized, wait, I've got flares that give you -2 armor, so your feat giving, or -2 def, your feat giving you +1 def.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. So I killed a lot of his stuff. The TPs didn't do a lot, but they
Did he
definitely
have
did their work.
Sorceress and Hellions?
I killed those first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You learned from the last game we
like
played.
turn 1, take 4 steps back, shoot Sorceress and
Yeah,
Hellion.
yeah.
Like, that's just what you do.
Yeah.
I think it was the best game I had ever played into that list, but I did eventually lose on scenario because the only way for me to survive long enough to be viable
So hang
was to
back.
just hang back.
Yeah.
Let them come to me.
Yep.
I probably should have run turn 1 instead of just walking, but
Those beasts
anyway,
are fast.
it was good, and he propped up my strength of schedule by winning it.
Third game, game 3.
Game 3, the closest game I have ever played in my life. I played against a Montreal player playing Ghost Fleet. I played Axis, 2 TEPs, 3 inverters, 1,000 servitors. And we went back and forth. I killed 8,000 of his things. He brought them back. I killed 8,000 of his things. He forgot to bring any of them back, yelled a lot. I killed a bunch of his things. He brought more back. And we each got... So it went to 7 rounds.
Yep.
It went to 6 control points each. And if you don't count servitors, it went to 49 points each. Like we're like, what is the next tiebreaker?
Yeah.
But my opponent did win it, and it was awesome. And we were both sweating at the end of that game. It was amazing.
In your defense, you sweat.
Yeah, just all the time. And then round 4, who did I play in? Oh, I played into Shane
Oh, yes,
of
Rhett.
the amazing widgets fame.
Yep.
And he was playing Rhett, and I put my stuff down on the table. He put his stuff down on the table, and he's like, oh, this isn't going to go well, because I was running a Prime Axiom with Mom and 3 ground pounders. So I just deleted his unit of halberdiers
Yeah.
on turn 1, and then dragged the jack that was
On
behind
turn
him.
1, that's nice of you.
Yeah, and then dragged the jack that was behind him in and killed it. And then I chased his caster and a couple more jacks around the house in the middle until he.
So a good, fun,
Gave
friendly game.
It was.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So let's go over to Jonathan. Jonathan, how was your week in War Machine?
Well, I don't often get to say this, but I had 5 games in 24 hours.
Wow.
I started Friday evening with a game against Heretic with my Denny 3 Bizarro list. It worked out all right. We ended up having to call it because it was like 11:30 at night. So halfway through, we called it. I was probably on the losing end of that game, but I learned that 4 min units of Mechanothralls with mortality and 3 brute thralls each is pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping Denny alive, made a giant soul train. It was good. Next day I went to a tournament, which we did a team tournament in our area. So I was playing in a team with the guy who played Heretic. I was playing Coven Ghost Fleet because I didn't feel like tooling around. So I didn't play Ghost Fleet at all. We got 2 rounds. The tournament went 2 rounds. I only got to 3 rounds. I got to play 2 games because the middle team dropped and we got the bye for round 3. Played Coven both rounds. First round against Wormwood. That one went a little bizarre. He had some placement issues at the top of 1, so he didn't have 10 souls. So he didn't have 3 souls, so he didn't have 10 focus on turn 2. But it all worked itself out. I killed Megalith, who was sitting 7 inches in front of the Egregore with 2 Bane Riders.
Oh.
2 Bane Riders.
I did have Tartarus walk up and give it Dark Shroud, but Tartarus was Strangleheld, so he couldn't make any attacks. And I did drop Curse of Shadows on it.
Yeah.
But that's still, he
Still
had like
good.
4 hit points off of him, and everything else was done by charging Bane Riders.
Wow.
After that, I got to play one of the top local guys. He was playing Heretic again. I played Coven Host into him, and it was a shit show. I just got completely raffle stomped. It was not the best day.
Yeah.
He had the 2 Cage Ragers. He had 2 Skin and Moans. He had 2 Frightmares. He had a Rattler. It's just called a Rattler.
I think so.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And he just had enough board presence and board control and a giant forest to hide behind that everything I did didn't matter. So then I decided to play a fun game against my teammate. He was running Vlad 3 with a billion horses. as you do. I played my Denny 3 list again, made a couple changes, so I put a whole bunch in advanced deploy. So I had 40 Mechanothralls on the board, most of them advanced deploying. Swapped out the 2 Leviathans from the earlier list for Deathjack, because Deathjack, with the potential of defense 15 and Poltergeist is really good, and Deathjack sitting behind the list casting Ghostly and Mortality is just awesome. It makes me giggle on the inside. So I blew up a lot of horses, ambushed into his horse's back arcs. It was just glorious Mechanothrall death. It was fantastic. And then for the win, I had he ran in with Vlad, did a whole bunch of awesome crap, killed almost my entire army, ran backwards, and Deathjack was on the other side of a fairly large forest. But I have Ghostwalk and I have Trample, so I ate him.
Yeah.
It was not his finest moment. But if he'd been about an inch backwards, if he cast Dash instead of Hand of Fate, is that the one that kills everything and I hate a lot?
Yep, probably.
Yeah, that's the one.
Sounds about right.
I hate it.
If he'd cast Dash instead of Hand of Fate, and he doesn't need Hand of Fate to kill Mechanothralls,
No.
he ends up an inch further back, and I can't get him with Deathjack.
Ah.
I got in 2 games this week, which was pretty good for me, actually.
that is pretty good for
I had
you.
a really cool game with Chris Aubin. He dropped his double siege, battle engine
Battle
list.
engines. Yeah.
It's Menoth, so the really nasty.
Which
those
caster was he playing?
Double Power Church?
I can't remember. I can't remember the cast. It wasn't Amon. It was the dude that's like a really plain looking, just looks like a. Anyway, long story short,
In Menoth? Plain looking?
yeah. So I dropped my double siege crawler list, which just because I was like, dude, this will be fun. We have all the giant battle
bases,
engines.
Yeah.
CID for the win. Let's go.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn it, I'm so gonna lose this, and he tilted like huge. And I'm like, dude, just. I've had several wobbly pops at this point. You've got a pretty good chance. So I didn't do a lot of things wrong, but at the same time, he did. He just forced my hand really, really strong.
Yeah.
And right at that beginning of the game, I was mentioning to Jason how much better my games had been since I really started forcing, like really playing so that I push my opponent to do more and So you go for scenario, you go for board presence, you try to get as many of the little things in as you possibly can. Chris Orr taught me that, and it was like, oh, that kind of changes if you're just putting so much pressure on your opponent that they crumble.
Yeah.
I was saying it really works. Like it really, really works. They just crumble because you're just.
Who knew that Chris Orr was a good player?
Right? I know, right? And just like one piece of advice could
I've
change
heard he's
my
okay.
Yeah. So I did that to Chris, but as soon as I said that, he started playing that way.
Yep.
He was like, well, fine, if that's how we're going to do it.
So it was Kraos 1, the pop and drop?
I believe so. And then I played a game against Brad at the pub this week.
Yep.
He was playing Legion, which was
Oh, that's right. He dug out his Legion.
He dug out his Legion, and
he put together a list that I would never play into anything ever.
Yeah, well, he's working on it. It was fun. It was a really fun game.
We did some dojoing after that because
super fun game.
You don't need 10 bolt throwers, bro.
Same.
What? Wait, what?
He had like 10 bolt
throwers.
It was interesting because man, like it could honestly have annihilated much, but he
just push all the things back and then keep shooting. Lilith 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20 shots on the feet.
Oh, it's really it's a really cool list. The problem is that I have sturdy on everything.
So you couldn't push it. It was to drop into that Mercs list is a terrible matchup.
Yeah, and the dwarves. And the same thing. He would kill. He was getting pretty good at just killing like 10 dwarves, but then I could just bring them back. Like I brought back a few of them. But yeah, he just couldn't kill stuff fast enough, and just forced scenario and
just couldn't volume.
It was a great game though, and we had a blast. And he got to dojo a new list, and I got to practice the list. I'm sort of got one hand tied behind my back on.
Yep.
So that was a great day. But that's it for that one. Let's talk about the news because man, we talked about our games this week a lot.
We had a lot of games.
Turns out we played a lot of games.
That's crazy.
Some of the news items: Elish Garrity has hit War Room and is on the George even has it on the table.
He's hit the table.
Woohoo! Woo! So you're going to be playing him this week because
hell yeah.
as of this week you can play him in
He's
your
the
CSC
only
list.
non-convergence model that I can play in Convergence.
Does he become friendly faction just because
I have no idea.
he's just there for some reason?
Has there been actual confirmation that you can take?
In War Room, it will let you do it, and
Okay.
Pagani has said that they may have released that a little early, but that's the only thing they've said. And what I suspect that means is that when we see the new Theme Force update on probably Friday at this point, we'll see what mercs can be taken with the new Theme Forces.
And is it so you've had a chance to look at his stats now and poured over it because obviously I get to put a mark in. So is he as ball-bustingly amazing as he was in CID? Or when they
he's
teased
pretty
him?
good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Puppet Master is always great.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
Puppet
brings
Master,
he brings a
Arcane Void.
lot of
He has
stuff.
Arcane Void.
Yeah, he has Arcane Void and Puppet Master, which are both
Bleed.
missing from Convergence.
Right,
We just
yeah.
don't, we
Missing
literally
from
don't.
a lot of places.
Yeah, some factions
Well,
are going to like
Puppet
him more than
Master's
others.
everywhere now.
Oh yeah.
But we don't have that way to cancel spells. We don't have
Yeah.
that. We don't have Puppet Master, so I can see him easily being included in a lot of my lists until he's proven not good.
Yep.
But so far, I don't see him being proven not good. He seems pretty good. I just don't know what I'm gonna have to drop.
I actually don't like him.
No.
I'm in a probably fairly vocal minority position where I had disbinding. Unbinding is a little better because it does damage. I had disbinding in Mark II. I used it all of twice.
Yeah.
I had it on a Speed 6 model with 5-inch bubble of disbind with ammonia. I just don't. And Puppet Master I've had forever.
Yeah.
It's good approximately 18% of the time, 19% of the time.
Yeah.
Like it's good. It does good things. But often when I'm like, all right, cool, I need to make sure I just roll 6 sevens. Roll 6 sevens. I didn't need that. I can use other things and just hope I roll high. Not everybody likes that type of, ride the edge and just make sure your dice agree with you. But
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is you're coming from a faction with all of these things already in it, right? Convergence doesn't have a way to get rid of spells like that. So I pop this guy next to Daddy, and the normal thing that kills off Dad is spells because he can't be knocked down. He's high arm already. He's got a decent defense. It's not great, but you get him behind a wall or a cloud or something, he's good. But what happens is they get 4 different debuffs on him and he dies. So having Eilish to shepherd that around is just amazing.
I love how
for us.
Bialak is just talking crap in the chat now. He's like, "We'll clock them." No, we both had like plenty of time left on our clocks.
No, I think you clocked yourself.
I don't think so.
Yep, you did.
Oh, all right. Well, I clocked myself.
You did. I remember I was standing right
You should
there.
That's funny.
You apparently should have drank more or less.
Yeah, one or the other.
Probably both. The new Circle Beast Heavy theme has dropped.
Yep.
I was
and
wondering when this was going to happen.
Super I found that it's interesting. I think it's pretty controversial. I think there's a lot of Circle players that always wanted more, and then there's other ones that are like, no, this can be really good with the right combinations.
Yeah, I've heard
But
mixed reviews for sure.
I think this is the problem, though, we're seeing across the board is that people want one thing and they get their heads wrapped around.
People get expectations
I want
up.
I want my Beast Heavy theme. It's going to contain these 6 things and give me this free stuff. It'll be amazeballs and I'll win games automatically. And then they don't get quite that, and it's like, well, that's not what I wanted.
Yep.
So that's kind of what's
It
happening
happens.
there.
I think that's just the way of themes
Yeah.
or new things.
Did we get another theme drop today?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
We had a.
They did a no quarter
IKRPG
prime
Insider.
Yeah, IKRPG Insider.
After that, Crick's Slaughter
Fleet.
Fleet theme was teased.
Yes. Yeah. So just a tease. I don't know. What do you think of the tease, Jonathan? Do you think it's?
I love one ability, and I think that ability is going to make the whole list. I want to see more of what the slaughter rate, the shard raiders do.
Yeah.
I mean, the gang fighter on lights is super, super cool.
Yeah. But there's still quite a few models to come out in regards to that theme. So
The new ogre and stuff.
yeah, that were teased at Lock and Load. So we don't know 100% what they're going to do to help with that theme. So
Well, and Gravediggers is official.
Gravediggers
it's
hits
out.
more room.
And all the excess models that were in that CID cycle come out this week or have come out already. Signar has more stuff to Signar with.
They sure do.
And they've got you can buy the trench box, can't you? Or is that come and gone?
I don't know.
Because they have released the the first of the Theme Force boxes. So it's literally a box O trenchers that is a Theme
kidding.
Force. Yeah.
It's good news for Mercs. We got some more options because we
Yeah.
can take Trencher units and choose Signar units in a couple of our themes.
Can you take Trencher long gunners?
I think so. I have to confirm that. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
Last I heard, there was a lot of people rejoicing because Trencher long gunners could go in. But are they better than Trenchers? Trenchers are pretty good in King's
They are,
Mountain,
but they're a different model.
Yeah, no, I just are they better? Are they? But anyways, that's not for me to say. We'll learn more about that in a bit. Okay, guys, let's get on to the round table. I'm going to hand over the reins to Jason, who's in control of the question period here.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
All right, we'll get to you, Vic.
Stop chugging wine.
Well, you can't make me. So we'll get the ubiquitous crap out of the way first. Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
How did Seething Ginger get started?
This is actually really super boring. It is. I wanted to write better. I'm terrible at spelling. I'm terrible at writing. So I figured, you know what? If I write 3 times a week, I'll get better at doing that.
Right.
And I'll write about cool things. I'll write about games, and I'll write about miniatures, and I'll write about D&D and whatever I want to. So then I just did that for 4 years.
That works. Do you find you've improved in your writing skills?
Probably not.
Probably not. So you're a longtime Crix player. Was Crix always your main faction, Jonathan, or did you start off flirting around with other factions?
No, I don't have any side pieces.
No.
I do play a little bit of Scorn, but that's only because it's hordes, and I like that that system when it's fun. But I started maybe 2006, 2005 with Crix out of the black and white book, and then I've just been playing it pretty much main ever since. It's been a wild ride.
Awesome. Yeah. So I did something a little different here. Since we did kind of a Crix overview not that long ago, I went on and asked some people if they had any questions for Jonathan.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So there's some people may not know this, but one of the things that's come out of the forums kind of going away is that there's some new ways that people are talking about factions and that kind of thing. So you've discovered
Discord.
Discord has some faction chats going down 24/7.
Yeah, which is
7 days a week.
Completely Paulo's fault. He sent me an invite one day, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I was like, "Oh,
I don't need a life."
Damn, there's a group for every faction. There's usually people talking, so it's pretty active. So I went on there, and I was like, "Hey, Jonathan's coming on tonight. Does anybody here in the general chat or Crix chat have any questions?" And of course, they were all power creep questions. Is Crix too powerful right now? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I took down the questions and the names of the folks who were asking them. And we'll just go through and see. Oh, of course, my phone just shut off. We'll just go through them and see what Jonathan has to say about these.
Well, I can do the first one while you're getting your phone.
Sure.
Up and running.
Yeah, go for it.
Lyriel asks, do you plan on looking at the WTC statistics for Crix at all?
No. So I do like the WTC statistics in terms of overall like brain power and looking at lists and finding what lists are strong. But by the same token, when you look at the WTC, you're able to build better matchups. So win percentages don't really matter to me. The ability to like analyze the deepness of a faction doesn't particularly matter. It's just like, what are good lists? So no, not really. The statistics are just numbers.
Right on. Yep, that's one way to look at it. A lot of people do.
It's kind of the way I look at it. Like the other thing
here.
is, somebody I can't remember who it was. Somebody we had in the cast years ago. It might have been Marc Andre or one of those guys. The hard WTC player said the problem with the WTC statistics are that they don't actually reflect truly what happens in a normal game.
Right.
Because in a normal tournament, you're picking your matchups. You're not picking your matchups.
Right.
Sorry.
You're getting a 2-list pairing or whatever.
Yeah. The way that the WTC, the format works is it's such a different beast, if that makes sense, because you're picking your matchups much more. And you're dropping lists to specifically deal with certain matchups. You're very rarely just playing a game where you're like, well, shit, I can't deal with that. So that does skew. It's great players, don't get me wrong, but it does skew that curve quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So the second question was from Quasi-Potent Mabadafi. I don't know. I probably pronounced that terribly. What are your thoughts on the overall dominance of Crix at the WTC? Because even if we ignore the statistics themselves, the fact is Crix won a lot of games, and they did pretty much dominate the WTC. So what do you think about that, Jonathan? Do you think that's just a matter of Crix getting all the right matchups, or
there's a little bit of that, and there's a little bit, and I'm going to get crucified for this because I hate people.
We're with you, man.
Yeah, we're right behind you on this one.
We broadcast things on the internet. Hatred of humanity just comes hand in hand.
So the big thing about the meta currently is that everybody wants to push their problems on other people, and nobody's playing, not nobody, right? But fewer people are playing answers. I remember getting my cane out in my wheelchair here. I remember the days when the question was not, how do I make the opponent suffer X? It is, how do I prevent myself from losing to X? And you take a whole lot of faction searching, looking for like the weirdest shit that'll make it so that like I don't die to Lilith too now. So I don't care that she exists and she's a terrifying monster from hell, but I don't care. So I'm gonna then build like a solution, and in that solution will also be victory conditions for other places. But I don't think enough people are looking to solve problems. They're looking to give problems to their opponents.
Right. I think that's fair. I think that comes up in a lot of metas and a lot of things now. Everybody seems to be asking the questions rather than answering.
Do you think that's because we don't know what the question askers are yet? Because in Mark II, by the time it rolled around to the middle to the end, we knew who was asking the questions. We knew what the Haley 2s were.
Some of that may also have to do with CID cycles, some of the changes in the game, the waiting for the theme lists to come out. It's harder to ask consistent questions or come up with solutions to problems when things could pretty much change tomorrow. So if you invest a lot of time coming up with your answer to Denny 2, well, that's great. Except then your theme force comes out and you're like, well, shit, this is a better answer. Now I've got to learn how to play. I'm just saying that has also, it changes the way that we play the game.
Yep, for sure.
I agree.
Yep. Kind of in the same vein, there are a lot of these kind of in the same vein. Larry L asks, is Crix too powerful right now?
You're asking a Crix player.
No, perfectly fair. Fair balance.
Let's ask non-Crix players.
As a non. Okay, so maybe I'll take this around to everybody, starting with Jonathan.
Right. I don't believe they're too powerful. And if they are, there will be ways to deal with it.
Right. Will?
I don't believe that they are. I believe that there are factions that can handle things quite well. I believe there may be a couple of tweaks that need to be made. You and I have discussed it today.
Yep.
I know that they've said that Ghost Fleet will not change, that we've all got to learn to deal with it. It is the reality now.
Yep.
But the reality is it wouldn't take much to just bring that back in line with everything else. And they've said that they were going to change things before. Tuna wasn't going to change, and then all of a sudden changed. Haley was in a good place, but changed. I mean, I'm saying it's not, but at the same time, I still think that there's some tweaking, but that tweaking is ongoing.
Yep. George?
No, I think they're fine. Yeah. The only thing that I right now having a problem with is that the faction as a whole gets to play all the different ways.
Right.
And that means that I cannot come up with a Crix answer.
Right.
Right. Like so it used to be again, going back to Mark II,
Yeah.
when you were playing into Signar, you only had to really worry about one or two casters.
Yeah.
And now when I look at with all the different themes
Mm-hmm.
that Crix has, I cannot peg a play style for
Right.
Crix.
Yeah.
Like they have basically given Crix all the play styles.
Yeah.
And this, I have a problem with that on two fronts. One, as a tournament player, I have a problem with that because I go into the tournament and I have no freaking clue what that's going to be.
Yeah.
But I also, from a sort of fluff point of view, I feel like factions should have identities, and the fact that Crix doesn't have a clear identity. Are we the deaf people? Are we the armor people? Are we the jack people? Are we the infantry people? Like that is the thing that I have a problem with. Not that they are good at those things. It's that as a faction, I feel like it should have a.
You should be one. You should have be one.
cohesive answer.
Well, no, you don't have to be one. You can say we're the defensive guys with jacks.
Well, and
or
they've done such a
we're
good-
the
Yeah, well, I think-
heavy armor crackers. We can take a hit and we can hit back.
Well, and they've done such a good job at getting Kador to that place. They've done such a good job at getting Legion right now is the ultimate glass cannon. I mean, you as Jason
Without all the power.
without
of a
all the
cannon.
power of a cannon right now, but
you haven't played that flying.
but the point
Oh.
being is that they have stuck to the identity on a lot of other factions, and it feels like Crix they were like, oh, but here now you can be the
Yeah.
armor.
So is
No,
the
I'm
is
not-
the problem that Crix pretty much has 5 themes out right now?
Well, I don't think that's the problem. I think the fact is that with the 5 themes, each one is a different playstyle, and they are all good.
Right.
I don't think any of them are particularly overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I'm not arguing that they are overpowered. You definitely have to think about how you're going to deal with it.
So do you think maybe other factions, their themes are more cohesive than
No,
Crix's?
I'm worried that everybody's going to end up like this.
Okay.
Oh, and we'll see, and then
Yeah,
Mark,
we'll
Mark
see.
4 will come, and we'll,
I believe. Well, we're already at like Mark 5 if you count all the big revisions and changes to philosophy. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at a normal tournament, you have a 2-list pairing.
Yep.
You know which 2 casters you're going to see. Certain things.
No, I don't. Yeah, I totally don't anymore in Crix. Which Ghost Fleet am I going to see? Which of the 4 casters? Which Dark Coast am I going to see?
Yeah.
Which of the 3 casters? Now,
Don't you get to see the other person's list?
No,
though?
but I mean, I'm not
can't
talking
prepare
about
himself
day
in advance.
of. I'm
Okay,
talking about
yeah.
in the future. So, like, I can say they will probably have Denny Ghost
So,
Fleet because
yeah.
Denny Ghost Fleet is best. But if someone is teched anti-Ghost Fleet,
Yeah.
then I have more of a problem than if it's a regular Ghost Fleet.
I like how George started this whole thing by saying, "I think they're fine."
No, as I said, I don't think they're overpowered. I just have maybe it's a philosophical difference about how factions as a whole should have more of a theming to them.
It's more of a conceptual problem concern with how the game is being rolled out and is being played on a broader sense than just Crix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Crix is a very good indicator of it because we're seeing all their themes. Because they
Right.
have all their themes, we get to see it sort of as a
Yeah.
whole.
Well, they also went through the CID cycle first. They've gone through the biggest revisions in the game. Where the comment that's been made a lot lately is, man, once you go through CID, your faction gets all the toys. Like, doesn't get more powerful, but all of a sudden, all those toys that you weren't using before.
Does Scorn feel that way, though?
Uh,
Honest question, I don't know.
As
They
someone who
did.
has played Scorn, I keep looking at those models over there. I seriously keep looking at those models because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't play. Like, who saw Derp Turtles coming? Like, nobody saw that coming.
All right, let's move on just because we're getting into a kind of bogged down by this one topic. Jason, what's the next question from the audience?
So the next question is Crix afraid of anything that isn't other Crix?
I hate
That's from
stealth. I hate
Scatrix.
no knockdown. I hate. That's about it.
Yeah.
So no knockdown. What about Grimkin? Are Grimkin actually like? So there seem to be the boogeyman for our meta.
The RFP on Grimkin is hard on Crix.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can play into it. I played into freaking
Heretic?
Shadows of Ios.
Oh.
Right? We've got RFP on freaking everything in the world.
Yeah.
And it's doable. sucks a lot, but it's possible.
Yeah. Next question. Nix U asks, are there any casters you would like to revisit in light of new themes and releases? And we should mention right now, Seething Ginger, Jonathan's blog, he's made an adventure of going through every caster in Crix and playing several games and building several lists with them to see which ones he enjoys the most and come up with some pretty interesting lists, actually. So are there any casters that you would like to revisit in light of the new themes or releases, Jonathan?
Man, I played Gorshade 2 as one of the first casters at the beginning of the year.
Right, yeah.
Bane Knight still had Vengeance when I did that. Dark Host didn't exist. I would love to play him now. He would be so cool in Dark Host and in a couple other different themes. There was somebody I was picking out for Black Industries, but I can't dredge them up from my poor inebriated skull. But yeah, there's a lot of casters I just want to go back. Terminus with Ghost Fleet sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I just have to do a shout out to the most amazing Terminus I have ever seen on the table. I saw the best Terminus mod.
All in one piece?
No, magnetized wings.
Okay.
That were like from a...
What kind of magnets were they?
I don't know.
Jesus.
The wings were from some kind of 40K dragon.
Oh, okay.
But had also been modded with all these big mechanical bits.
Ooh.
So it fitted. I just wanted to point out that for anybody who was at that tournament, I think it was a Montreal player.
Yeah.
He has the most amazing Terminus
Nice
mod ever. I'll see if I can find a
It's funny.
pic of it.
Terminus is actually like it's a weird model, but
Yeah.
it was actually one of my favorite ones to paint.
Other than Gimpy Hand.
Right, yeah.
Well, it's just because it's such
He's
an
an interesting
it's
model,
an interesting model full of detail, and
I
it's
think
got
it's
a lot of
the
really
assembly that most
yeah.
people
It's really the
dread
assembly that
with
most.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail you there.
All right. We got time for about 5 more questions, and then we're gonna have to move on to.
All right, let me handpick a few here because so a lot of people have been attributing the success of Coven at the WTC to List Chicken with Denny One Ghost Fleet. How valid is it to read into Coven's success making them a breakaway outlier, or is it just an even broader impact of Denny One Fleet being meta bending?
Ooh. Coven
Simple
was-
question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Deep question. It's just the answer actually I feel is that Coven was always good from the beginning of Mark III.
Yeah.
They were what we crutched on before, so Coven being good because of Denny is a weird question to ask. They were good. We found Ghost Fleet and went, we could not use you for a little bit. And then we're like, well, but come back. Now let's do this together.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of the first started playing Crix in like January, I think it was. And
Yeah,
one of
we've faced against that friggin' list enough times.
Yeah, one of the first lists I played was Coven with Double Satixis and Soul Hunters. And it was some of the most fun I've ever had playing War Machine in
That's
my
because you
life.
won every game
Oh,
for
it's
like
just
3
it's
months.
disgusting.
It was glorious.
Yeah. So here's a little bit of one from Nix U. Any advice for Crix players that are tired of hearing Crix is OP or overpowered from the rest of the community?
Oh my God, I've heard this for like 11 years. It is you just get used to it, and you take it into yourself, and you go, all right. What I'm gonna do is it's really irritating to hear that over and over again. You just won because your models are better than my models, not because you have any skill at the game, not because you tried real hard, not because the opponent made dumb mistakes. So you just let it wash over you, and then you go, I agree, but also this thing you did was really dumb and probably got you killed. And this thing I did, I thought you were going to kill that, but then you chose to go over here and just not. So these things allowed me to kill you. So maybe next time don't do that.
So bathe in the salty tears
Yeah.
of your enemies.
Like Alad says in the chat, feed off the salt. Enjoy.
100%.
Live off the salt.
All right, last question, Jason.
Let me see here. These are super long. Oh, here's one. What do you think of the example list for Slaughter Feet? Fleet? Did I say feet?
Yes.
I may have had half a bottle of wine so far. Does it have game, or is it too reliant on models that we haven't seen yet? And as an aside, the list only added up to 73 points unless the stalkers are now actually 9 points.
That's actually a really heavy question. That is a long question because I have to talk about the Raider. I have to talk about Slaughterborn and his boys. I have to talk about like Iacos, right? Because he came in the list free.
Yeah.
And I have to talk about the Stalkers, and I have to talk. But I'm sorry, Oz. I don't. Or was it Will Schick? Whoever it was. I don't like your list at all. It has two.
I think that was Schick.
My least favorite units in the whole world.
Yeah.
I just don't like the Blood Gorgers in their current incarnation.
And the Black Ogren.
No, the Trollkin, the Blood Gorgers.
Yeah.
If they can't do anything, they can't get anywhere. I tried them with Iacos and they failed. Like he gives them Scything Touch and a +2 to hit, and there's nothing. So hopefully he's playing with the CID version where they're masters of killing the world.
Right.
Could be. Could totally be.
Could be.
All right, we're gonna leave that topic behind.
Yeah, but do you think one quick question? Do you think stalkers are going up to 9 points?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
I believe he's bad at math.
Just
Okay.
in theme.
Just bad at math.
No, just in theme.
Just in theme.
All right, it's time for us to get a little for the first time in 3 weeks.
It worked.
It worked. All right. Tonight's focus, and this is in direct correlation with a few things that have been going around the news. We're not going to specify what they are because it kind of all shook itself out. And what it kind of brought to the forefront for us was the concept of sportsmanship
And etiquette.
and etiquette, and what that means as far as playing this game. Our good friend Tim Banky has said this to us a million times, that this game, it's a construct of etiquette. It's an agreement between two human beings to play a game the best we can, as honestly as we can, and that construct needs to be. It's an agreement.
Yes, it is.
So
it's a gentleman's
it's
agreement.
a gentleman's agreement
Yes.
to not completely just fake shit.
Right.
So let's talk a bit about what we consider sportsmanship and etiquette, and some of the things that make you more sporting.
Yeah.
The first thing that Jason, you wanted to talk a bit about was sportsmanship and etiquette. What do you think are sort of the golden rules as far as War Machine is in Hordes is concerned?
I think it's different for different people.
And different metas too.
And different metas. I know some people are way more competitive than others. Some people just play the game for fun and shits and giggles. So I think probably at the start of your game, you should ask your opponent before you even begin to take models out of your bag what kind of a game you're looking for. Are you looking for something competitive? Are we dojoing? Or are we just shooting the shit, having some beers, and playing a game of War Machine?
So, and that's the game that you like to play.
Yeah, I'm not a competitive player.
And George likes to push shit in.
George is a shit pusher.
No, not necessarily. I won't say I
Me and
don't.
George are the same spirit.
I won't say that I don't enjoy it when it happens, but more to the point, I like to play a limited set of models repeatedly until I finally figure out how the hell they work. It's one of the things that I love about playing a limited faction, and one of the reasons that I will tend to pick a pair of lists at the beginning of sort of a 6-month period and just play them to death.
So
Because I know that the lists are good, and if I do enough repetitions with the lists, I might finally figure it out.
Okay, so that aside, because you like to play that kind of game, because that's what you're working on. You're playing an internal game as much as an external game.
Right.
What are your sort of rules of sportsmanship and etiquette?
Well,
what do you expect from your opponent?
so what I expect from my opponent completely changes depending on where I'm playing. If I am playing at a tournament, I expect a tournament level player. It doesn't matter. Tournament level etiquette. Doesn't matter how good or bad my opponent is.
Right.
I expect a tournament level game. I mean, we're not looking, when you make a screw up, you're not looking to try and take it back. When you are when you're casting a spell, you're always tokening absolutely everything. When you're marking on your cards, they're out in front of you and your opponent can see it. If you're using a tablet, the tablet is set so that your opponent can see you marking the damage. I expect a relatively clean game. We are humans. It's going to happen. People are going to mess stuff up. But I expect a relatively clean game. And when I make a mistake, I expect to declare it immediately to my opponent and them to do the same for me. When I sit down to play at the pub, I expect a bunch of drunken louts to push models around, and I'm really happy if my models don't end up on the floor by mistake.
That's good, because that's pretty much what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go over to Jonathan, and just because I want everybody to get a chance to answer this question, what is your what do you expect for your opponent's etiquette and protocol?
So, my opponent's etiquette. Here's the thing: I don't care about my opponent. And in the most positive light you can possibly imagine, it is not my job to make my opponent a happy person. They have to be a happy person when they're playing the game, and I have to be a happy person. I, as a sportsman, am going to be pleasant in all aspects. I am going to be clear, and I am going to make sure that I am the least dick that I can be.
I think that's bang on.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean,
if everybody could play that way, we'd all be happier players.
Yes.
So. All right. So let's talk a bit about some of the things that happen in a game that could be.
Well, you didn't answer the question.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm actually, to be honest, you guys kind of answered it across the board for me.
Okay. That's fair.
At tournament level, first off, me as a player, I generally go in saying, "Hey, I'm going to be pretty forgiving. I'm trying very hard to no longer be a grumpy loser because I lose enough that I should not be grumpy when I lose. I should be happy to have learned something new. And what are all you sons of bitches? I mean, but that's my take on it. I think you guys have answered it perfectly, and I think we should just aspire to play. Yeah, to not be a douchebag. And if we could all just not be douchebags, we'd have great games.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the problems out there that sometimes cause a rift in what is sportsmanship. Takebacks and forgotten activations in competitive versus non-competitive play. Now, George, you already stated that in competitive play, that's a null. That's not this. Sorry, you fucked up. You're done.
Let me expound a little bit bigger on that. If there has been no game state change since you ended activation or whatever, I have zero problem with you going back and finishing something up. So say, for example, you finish up with your caster and you forget to feat and you move, say, a unit without making any attacks, without taking any free strikes. You literally just moved a unit. And you're like, oh, crap, I was going to feat with these guys. I was going to feat, but I moved this unit. I'm totally going to let you go back and activate the feat like that because nothing in game state has changed.
Right.
Now, on the other hand, if you forget to feat and then charge a unit and make a bunch of attacks and halfway through you're like, oh, crap, I forgot to feat. Well, that's too bad. You've already done things that changed game state. We can't roll that shit back.
Yep.
Now, in a non-tournament game, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, sure. We'll give you 4 extra damage. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Because that's different.
Well, and I think that brings to light that one of the things that we've talked about a lot, and this is our philosophy and not necessarily everybody else's, and I'm never going to enforce my philosophy on other people.
Nope.
But I prefer to not win because somebody forgot something simple, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So that's my preference. So in that sense, that's why I generally allow people to do shit. Now, again, game state's a problem. If it's like, oh, I activated that whole unit wrong, can I reset the unit? It's like, no, you really can't because we can never get that right.
We can never put those eggs back in the basket.
Which seems to be the controversy that's stirred up a little bit.
Yeah, and that happens, but and that's a judge can do that, but I can't. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So let's go. So Jonathan, how do you feel about takebacks and gimmies and that kind of stuff?
So there's this weird kind of blurry line where you've got to look at, hey, to win a game I deserve to win, not a game that my opponent lost. Right? So if the feat where George was talking, right, where you go, I charge a whole bunch of shit, and then dies. Oh, I forgot the feat. All right, well, the feat affects the rest of your army. I'm okay with that. It's not going to affect what you did now. But there's that blurry line, and I don't want to take back many things. I want to win a game I've earned on both sides.
Right.
I don't want to win a game where my opponent has just made so many catastrophic mistakes that I walked over there and punched the caster in the noggin and killed it. But I also don't want to win a game where I stole it from my opponent because I made a whole bunch of stupid mistakes that I should have known better and asked for all these takebacks.
Yeah. So let's, Jason, you mentioned chatty spectators on your list of sportsmanship stuff.
Right.
So expound on that a little bit. What do you mean, and what do you do?
So I'm thinking the chatty spectator. For both probably just non-competitive versus competitive play, we're just playing a game at the pub. 3 or 4 people have finished their games early. They come over to watch. At some point, 1 or 2 of the people start saying, why didn't you do that? Or if you did this, you could, do that and that and that. Involving themselves in your game.
Which is a normal thing because we cannot help ourselves.
Exactly.
Nobody can help themselves.
We like to put our brains into things because we're all really nerdy people when it comes to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
We like to say, hey, why don't you do that? Because, that's the way we would probably do it or whatever. But as the player, do you really want people interjecting on your game? And do you tell them, shut up, and watch the game, or feel free to say what you want. Maybe it won't impact my game or whatever.
I think as an opponent, it's even worse because now I'm playing
exactly.
against the room.
Now you're playing against 3 or 4 people that are.
So at the pub.
Yeah.
So we have sort of distilled this into the pub and the tournament.
Right.
At the pub,
or the game,
the friendly
game
home
store.
game
Yeah.
or whatever.
At the pub, I don't care.
Right. Non-competitive.
I will play the entire fucking room.
Let's say non-competitive play.
Yeah. During non-competitive play, I will beat my brain
I will
against
take
everybody
5
else here.
people
I
on.
will say, you drive us nuts sometimes. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Watch machine.
Yeah. The other side of that is during a tournament, shut the hell up. There are
Yeah, I agree. In a tournament, I don't think it's ever warranted. I think you watch and be quiet.
A great thing to do if you have a chance to go to the Southern Ontario Open. Go after you've scrubbed out of your game.
Yeah.
Go and watch the streaming table near the finals.
Right.
And because we stream, I've sat there. I have gotten front row seats at some of the most amazing games of War Machine.
Yeah.
And what happens is you have other WTC teammates and stuff. And one of them will tap the other guy on the shoulder. They'll both turn around, take 10 steps away, whisper to each other, then turn around and walk back.
And a perfect example of that was Banky and Soon's game in the finals of the Sioux, where Banky had forgot that the particular caster had feigned death.
Yes.
And was knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a wave of people walk away from the table.
Because now, the interesting thing is when you're playing that type of game, people wandering away from the table, you never think it's because of what you're doing on the table.
Right.
You assume they're going for lunch or something.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the way it should be.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
Now, on the other hand, I have also been playing a game, and I've had Banky walk past me and say, later on you're going to have to explain to me the positioning of Model X. And then you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Banky's totally going to...
So I'm going to send this last question out because we are going to have to get to the lightning round. I'm going to send this last question out to Jonathan. What do you feel is the best way to resolve rules issues when things aren't crystal clear in a tournament setting and outside of a tournament setting?
You call a judge. You call a judge over, and then that you just look it up. If it's not in a tournament, you wait. You go in the book and you make sure you know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you won't know the next time, and you won't know the next time. If there's any sort of disagreement, you look the damn rules up. Read your card.
Yep.
And then if it's in a tournament, just call the judge. I'll wander over. I'll look at your rules. I'll make a decision, and then I'll wander back out.
Perfect. I think that is that is exactly the answer I would go
That's
with.
what I would go
And
with as well.
Everybody who can hear my voice right now, please call over. Just wow. Yeah.
Sorry. It was funny.
Everybody who can now hear my voice because of the ass hats in the room, call the judge. The judge is bored. The judge is sitting over there on his phone looking at Facebook for the 478th time. He would really enjoy measuring a distance or checking a line of sight, or if you've got some obscure rules question, or just you want to clarify something before the game starts.
So I have one more little thing that just came up in the chat. Say we're doing a stream game.
Mm-hmm.
Me as the person sitting at the streaming table notices an error that happened during the game. Is it proper for the person who notices the error to call a judge and bring it to the attention of the judge, or is it only on the onus of the two people playing the game?
So if you are watching a game,
Yep.
First of all, you should not just throw your hand up and yell judge next to somebody else's
Definitely
table.
not. No.
But if you approach the judge and say, I have noticed this thing,
Yep.
and you can do it away from the table,
Yep.
that is perfectly okay. Because the judge can then make the call. That's a action that is not necessary. It's just a may action.
Right.
And in the case of a may action, judges generally won't act because
But
it
it's
is not an illegal game state. But if it is something that is going to cause an illegal game state and people are going to later on see that and go, what the hell are you doing, you cheaters? Everybody wants that fixed ahead of time.
Right.
There's nobody on either side of the table who doesn't want that shit fixed as quickly as possible.
So can you say, guys, pause your clock for a second, or you just let them go?
You do nothing.
You
You,
just-
do not interfere. This is not your place.
Yeah.
The judge, on the other hand, that's his entire job.
You go to the judge.
You
and
go to the
mention
judge separately
this-
and you say,
Yeah.
hey, I've noticed a thing, or I've done this. You tap on a judge's shoulder and he'll walk away from the table with you and you can say, I think that model is doesn't he have to make that tough roll, or doesn't he, it's a must, not a can, to kill another model or something.
Yeah.
And then the judge will walk back to the table, he'll look at the table and he'll either say pause your clocks, or he'll say I'm going to need you to make that tough roll.
Perfect.
Or whatever.
Excellent.
All right.
Good to know.
We're gonna cut this short. Thank you very much, guys. I think that was very informative. It's always good for us to touch base on sportsmanship and etiquette.
Indeed.
George, hit that button.
The lightning round.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the lightning round. 9, because Minty did not get me a question today.
God damn it, Minty.
So it's going to be 9 questions tonight. I'm sorry for that. It's okay. None y'all were going to be able to answer it anyway. So we'll just I'll give a number 10.
Yeah.
What is the most complex thing I could possibly think of that you don't know?
I can come up with one.
Question number 1. Oh, do you know how this is played, Jonathan? You need to buzz in. Raise your hand as well, because sometimes these guys will cut you off on Skype. And I will judge who got to buzz in first. Question number 1. What is the POW of Scar's Great Rack? George.
Dem titties?
That's not
No,
it.
that's
John, it should be 2 attacks. It really should be. Uh-oh. Jonathan, what is the POW
4.
on the Great Rack?
Yep.
No, it might be.
Are
I
you singing
have the
POW or
POW.
P plus S?
P plus S.
Oh, well, that's
Sorry,
different.
I screwed that up.
Dumas.
God damn it. Question number, it's 10.
It's 10.
P plus
10.
S is 10.
I'll give you all a point.
That's why I didn't know, because I was like, I don't know where POW is, but I know where P plus S is 10.
All right. I'll give you all a point. Question number
4.
There we go. You were
Jonathan
right.
got it right.
So
Yeah.
you get 2 points.
2 points for Jonathan. For
Question number 2.
Making Will look like a dummy.
That is what this is all about. Question number 2. What is Death Jack's speed? Go for it, Jason.
6.
It is 6. Question
Is too damn fast valid?
No.
Question number 3.
Not fast enough.
What is the FA on bile thralls? Jonathan.
2.
No, it is 3, sir. It is 3.
Same thing.
Question number 4.
Nobody uses them anyway.
Apparition happens in what phase?
Eh.
Jason.
Maintenance phase.
It's control.
Minus 5
Didn't
points.
we go over that on Monday?
Just went over that, yeah.
I thought it was maintenance. Somebody
No,
said
it's
maintenance.
control.
Pretty sure somebody told me.
You got
You
it
said
wrong.
maintenance.
No, I said control.
No, you said maintenance.
You're wrong.
You were like, it happens on the maintenance phase.
How much was I drinking on
lot.
Monday?
A lot.
Okay, that makes sense.
Question number 5. The blood hag attaches to what? George, what is your ridiculous answer?
It's the Texas Raiders.
No. Wrong. It goes to Jonathan.
Blood witches.
It is blood
Texas
witches.
Blood witches.
Huh.
Question number 6. What is Denny 3's mount's name?
Fuck me.
That's a weird name for a dragon.
That is what it does, not its name. George.
Blightwing.
It is not Blightwing. Anybody else got hazard a guess? Malefactor.
Oh.
The answer is
Well, that's a
Malefactor.
weapon.
Is it not the name of the... Damn it!
You're the worst at
I'm the
questions.
worst. I was kind of in a hurry tonight because I was editing right until about 5 minutes before the cast, so I may have screwed up some things.
Everybody's running to War Room.
Yeah, everyone's like, what is the name of it? It's probably just Mount.
Yeah, mount.
Probably
Yeah.
just Mount. Question number 7. So 2 more points to John. God damn it. Question number 7. What does Unhallowed do?
Meh.
Jonathan.
+2 armor to all undead models in the command range of 4 ranged and magic attacks.
Correct, sir. Very well done. Question number 8. What is the cost on Mockery of Life? What is-
Meh.
Jonathan.
2.
It was just Mount. Yeah, I know.
It's Mount.
It's Mount. Would have been cool if it was Malefactor.
Would have.
It is 2. You are correct. Question number 9. My dragon's call gives me souls for the enemies destroyed. Who am I? Jonathan.
Terminus.
Lich Lord Terminus is correct. We don't have a 9th question. It is
10th question?
10th question. Super complicated.
In what year?
In
AR,
what
blah,
year
blah, blah.
does the color blue?
George, you want to make up a minty question?
Go ahead. We'll try to answer it.
Okay. Lady Katarina Rose was held in what prison in the Iron Kingdoms?
I gotta come up with the George answer.
Arkham Asylum.
Incorrect. I give in. What was it?
I don't know. I got to look it
Oh,
up.
okay.
Oh my God.
God damn it.
You have to know the answer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We're going to call it. And Jonathan's the winner! Yay! Because I obviously can't write questions in 5 minutes.
Join the
That's-
long list of people that beats us at the lightning round.
well, hey, you've won.
I've won several
once,
times.
Twice, three times.
Several is 2 or 3?
2 or 3.
Yeah, sure.
Please the questions in our favor.
Yeah.
I do
Slightly
make
tipped.
sure that it is
guest gets a
the
little
guest gets a
extra.
little extra. Otherwise,
Something.
the whole thing really is to test to make us better players so that we know statistics off the top of our head. I don't know them, but other people might. Okay, I got to do some upkeep, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to send this over to Jonathan first. If I want to if I want to read more stuff by you on the Seething Ginger, where do I go? Tell us about what you up to, and tell us about the Nova Open, which you're a part of.
All right. So you guys have heard a lot about the Nova Open from these spectacular men. I didn't know they were doing any of it. It was awesome. And the Nova Open has been growing for the past couple years. I've been running the War Machine portion for 3-4 years, some years greater than 2. And it's been a blast. We had a whole bunch of great players. We had 70 people running in Masters all at the same time by myself because everybody left me. And that, the Nova Open was great. It was great to hear. It was awesome to hear you guys just plugging it week after week after week.
Good cause.
And then seethingginger.com. Super easy.
Hard to find. It's it with an EA, right? SEATHI.
No.
Oh crap! Just kidding.
You're the worst at spelling.
I know. You should see the questions. I can't even read my own.
Nobody
writing.
else can read those. But there's a couple times you couldn't even read your own answers.
It's normal. All right. So other than that, I want to go over to what does Fraser need us to do this week?
Troll Blood Scrum is on tonight. I believe Dallas is on Troll Blood Scrum again tonight.
Dang!
They get Dallas on the reg. We need to get Dallas just popping in every now and then on Skype and just.
Well, I think if they get Dallas, then we should get.
Oh, we should get somebody better.
Doug. We should just have Doug.
Oh, we should have Doug.
I don't mean they're comparable.
Better?
Better? Are you just like?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm calling out. I'm calling out Dallas. Bring it, motherfucker!
All right.
Oh my god.
And make sure that you report your game.
No, seriously though, I would like to thank PPS Jackson, who has moved on to other things. I've been talking to Jackson for quite a while now, and he's just been a fabulous contact at PP. He's a great guy. He's got his own meta going strong. So we're going to probably have him on at some point just to talk about how things are going and what life is like in his new meta and such.
And he could be just caught under all the NDAs.
Exactly. Yeah, he's no longer under those things.
Well,
though,
yeah,
right?
he will be.
He is. For like 5 years.
5 years.
Worse even. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just whisper back and forth. But anyway, yeah, a big shout out to Jackson and best of luck in his future.
And thanks for
endeavors.
helping us out as much as he has.
For sure.
We would not be where we is as far as some of our guests if he hadn't been on
right.
our side.
Yep.
George, what kind of events do we have going on in the area?
The correct answer was Ramrack Royal Special Health Institution. So, now that I've discharged that particular
right
duty,
on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. Now that I've discharged that particular duty, next up is Out of the Box on the 7th. The Out of the Box tournament series is a set of 8 tournaments leading up to a final invitational, 75-point steamrollers. The next one is on the 7th. After that, the next tournament is the Ottawa-Montreal tournament series. I don't remember exactly what date that is, but it's sort of mid to late next month.
And Montreal's been calling us out, man.
Oh my God, have they? And then, as we are coming up to October, Longest Night will be happening with the brand new Longest Night pumpkin patches. Really, PP? They're literally patches in the shape of a pumpkin.
So, expected something better?
I know. But all of the...
That seems very fitting to me.
All of our participants will receive a pumpkin patch.
Yeah, it's glorious.
So, yeah, come on out. Try out all the new fun, weird scenarios and have some fun. If you're not a tournament player, I would invite you to come out and try out some tournaments.
But you're not going to?
I would like to, but these assholes are going to make a snide comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've never played in a tournament, come on out, have some fun. It's a way to get a whole bunch of games of War Machine in with a bunch of fun players.
And then George shoves your shit in.
Yep.
No, I'm running the tournament.
Oh, well then.
I love how I'm shoving people's shit in, and I went 2-2 at the tournament.
Well, no, we're just kidding.
Style.
It's with
Style.
Yes, it's a style.
I'm
it's
shoving
a
it
style
in with
thing.
style.
That is your style.
Oh, shoving it in is the style?
All right. I need to do a couple shout-outs. First off, I want to thank our sponsors, the Wizards Tower. They still carry a full line, ladies and gentlemen. Get down there, buy your sweet
Get your
goodies.
no quarter prime.
Yeah,
With
get it now.
Garrity.
With the only convergence model you don't own.
Yeah.
That's right. And the only convergence model almost everybody will own. So I want to shout out to them. I want to shout out to our friends at the Crooked Mile who will start sending us beer again soon.
Ooh.
And who are proudly going to be part of MooseCon this year and
Fantastic.
have opened up the brewery if we would like to play games there on Saturday.
No, not kidding.
So
Nice.
it's kind of cool. They have an open game day there, so bring a mat.
Like a 4x4
Do they have enough
area?
space for one?
They have the space for like one couple
mat?
of
4x4?
guys to come
Yeah.
and play. But they also have other board games, so if you just want to go
And it's in a goddamn brewery.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dylan's a fantastic painter, and he is playing Infinity right now. So
Sounds like a
cool.
really great space for like Blood Bowl or
yeah,
something.
it would be an awesome place for Blood Bowl if somebody wants to go. Anyways, join those guys on Saturdays for a game day. They would love to have you out there to play games. Last but not least, Shout out to the Muse on Minis Network, who keeps us in your earbuds. So make sure that if you're not subscribed to the whole Muse on Minis podcast lineup, please do. There are lots of other great podcasts, and we would like you to love them as much as you love us. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Shout out to the Muse brand new 11 through 14 inch.
They got 11 through 14 inches.
Yes.
Finally, I'll be able to
something
measure 14
control
inches.
range with.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank our guest, Jonathan from
Thank you, Jonathan.
SeethingGingerGinger.com.
Problem.
Thank you, sir.
You will be back again, I am sure, because...
Once that CID hits, we gonna get you back, sir.
Oh, we get him.
That sounds sweet.
Get
Yep.
both him and Banky on. We'll just
Yeah,
let them,
yeah,
we'll let
for
them
sure,
argue.
yeah.
It'll be great. We'll just shut up and
We'll
drink.
just connect them together and we'll just log out.
That's perfect.
Just watch the
He's
show.
much more polite.
He's much more polite. Well, it's good to have that,
We need to have both sides. You need
the
to have...
fire and the ice.
That's right.
There you go. I
ooh.
like it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us for this evening. George, hit that button.
Dice down. Moose Machine and This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes is a proud part of the Muse on Minis network. Podcasts go online every Thursday morning. You can watch the show live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and keep in touch with us on our Facebook page. Just Google Moose Machine. If you can't find us, you're doing the internet wrong.
So it's funny that once the show actually started, that got quiet again.
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know.
Come on, George.
Come on,
I
George.
didn't
You're messing
change
around with
anything.
settings.
Ah, damn it, George.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Fucking Windows.
It's
So
always fucking Windows.
So what Windows does is it has this really neat little feature that automatically lowers the volume of your computer while the
Mics are on or
well,
whatever.
no, specifically while the Skype communications or any communication software is running. I actually know where that is too, and I can just fix it.
There
Excellent.
we go. We
Next
finally
week we got
figured.
it done.
Only took us a year.
Ever since we came back from the Sioux, things have just been shit.
Well, they've been ever changing.
Ever-changing.
Ever changing.
Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle.
Here we go. Look, it says reduce the volume of all other sounds by
That's a
80%.
fucking checkbox.
Do
80% is a
nothing.
lot.
Yeah.
Apply.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hit a button again.
Dice down.
Is that better?
That's about the
A
same.
little bit quiet.
This Death Clock Has
We might have to
That's
adjust.
a little bit more.
Probably have
but
to adjust them all again.
Anyway,
All right, so this is the after show stuff.
After
things.
the after show.
After show.
Dun, 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 dun.
Da-da-da.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
how's it going, man? Did you have an all right time?
Yeah, no, it was great. I just hate interrupting human beings.
You
And-
need to, because we will
Yeah,
just talk forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk forever too, and that's why I hate interrupting. Because I'll just be like, and I did this 73 hours later. All right, when did you start, you son of a bitch?
The reality is, my entire job on this show is to interrupt
to tell
everybody.
people to shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to interrupt.
Yeah.
That's I literally
That's
I
what
am
Will
I
does.
I literally have lost knowledge because of this show
Yeah.
because now I just
I noticed when you cut me off at 4 games instead of 5.
Yeah.
sorry.
I noticed that too.
I've played 5 games.
I'm
Pretty-
I'm looking at the time. I'm
Pretty
like,
sure that was
Jesus
4.
Christ, Ron.
I-
Ron.
No,
I got-
it was good. I didn't say anything. I could have been a dick. I was like, what's up with the other game?
So
You
what
should've
happened
said-
during your 5th game?
Yes, tell us
But
now.
this game was actually the absolute best game I had.
Ah!
I played against the brand new Cray.
Ooh.
With that same giant list of thralls with Denny 3 in Breakdown. And the removal of Killbox from the edges of the board and not just from the front and back has opened up the game in spectacular ways. I was able to ride Denny along the side of the board, just ushering in wave after wave of troops, while the other side of the board ambushed. So it's like, all right, you can come to Denny if you want. And she holds this whole side of the board where you can come into the ambush troops. And I just slowly ground the dude away behind a wall. Cray hid behind a forest because he was inept.
He had no place to go.
Yeah,
legit.
It was great.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
we've
had-
never really talked about the fact that the kill box is only front and back now, so
Yeah.
you can flank hard.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it actually is, in certain scenarios, it's
Yeah.
an awesome way to play the game.
Did you read Circling the Drain today?
No.
Scott has been doing articles. Scott from Party Foul? I think it's Scott. It might be Greg.
Party
I think it's-
foul.
Party
Trying
Foul?
to place the name.
I've never heard of them.
I think.
Yeah, it seems bad.
Seems like not
Well,
an
that's
article.
what
I-
Reddit says.
Sounds like a salt mine.
Oh, it's definitely that. But he wrote in an article on like different deployment and combat strategies, like a flank, anvil, and hammer, screen and troop, stuff like that.
Did he
Right.
give each of them like a really mean name? Like,
Yeah, they were all called "Fuck Your Mom."
oh,
Yeah.
Shit.
Fuck your mom from the left. Fuck your mom from the right. Fuck your mom back and forward.
coming home to your mom in a three-way.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Greg article.
Sounds like a great article.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was good and talked about flanking. That was the whole point.
Oh. Well, I guess it shouldn't have been so mean.
Oh no.
Did any of you play back in the day when flank was a scenario type?
Absolutely.
I did
Oh,
not.
I radial deployed, man. I radial deployed.
Oh, yeah. At Nova next year, I'm going to do a casual tournament which will have a flank deployment, a radial deployment, one of the objectives that blows your own dudes up. Like, I'm just going to do all sorts of old school crap.
Old school shit.
My favorite old school thing is still Mark 1 Death Jack. You give him all the focus or he kills your caster.
Does the same thing except smaller.
Yeah.
Glorious.
All right, guys, I
All
got
right,
to run
gents.
home because I got to go back to work.
Oh, you poor bastard.
How's that freelance working out for
I
you?
love working freelance. It's the greatest.
Isn't it fun?
Somebody shoot me.
I love my Ninja Division
Oh.
job. I'm just gonna stay.
That reminds me, have you put together the PG model?
I haven't touched
Will hasn't
shit
done
in
shit.
2 weeks.
Okay, I just want next Wednesday, bring a shield for me. Because I want to cast that shield.
All right, you might want to remind me.
I will.
No,
I will just beforehand.
That's probably the
Oh,
best.
the Yoker?
best
Or
strategy.
the
The
Yoker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
The
to cast
Yoker.
that.
The
Yoker?
Yoker.
I may have finished this entire bottle of
I-
wine.
God- Damn,
Goddamn
notice.
ogre and yokers.
I guess you're walking back to pick up your truck tomorrow.
Yep.
All right.
Goddamn ogre and yokers, they hit my client.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. Thanks, Jonathan. It was awesome. Good night.
Thanks, sir.
Night.
Great to have you.
Night, everybody.
Ow.
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 Ow.